Hello YouTube, this is Marauders here, and this is the Hasbro Remote Control BB8 droid. Okay, so this is not like the one that you control with the handphone, because that's a Sphero. This is an actual toy, for lack of a better word. So it's an actual remote control toy which you control with a remote control. Now, there are a few reasons why I prefer this thing. First of all, it's just a simple toy. Hang on, let me turn it off. Okay, so now it's off. Okay, so basically there are a few reasons why I like this instead of the Sphero one, which you've seen a lot of people talking about. First of all is it's bigger. So the Sphero, which you control with your phone, is actually much smaller. So this is much bigger, and as you've heard, the sound comes from the droid itself instead of coming from your phone, because the Sphero doesn't have a speaker. And most importantly, of course, because it's a toy, I feel much safer letting Wenzhen and Wenhe play with it, and of course they don't need to use my phone to play with it. And thus, because it is a toy, it's also relatively much cheaper than a Sphero. The simple reason is because of this. Let's take it for a spin. So when you remote control it, it's pretty easy. It controls like a sort of like a tank. What you do is you just turn, and when you press forward, it more or less goes where the head is pointed as. But of course, because it's just a ball rolling around, sometimes it doesn't travel in a perfect straight line. This is of course in contrast to the Sphero, which has advanced mechanics, but of course this Hasbro one is actually just a simple remote control toy. It doesn't have all the super advanced electronics, but as a toy it still works pretty well. So let's check out how does this thing actually work, which is actually pretty ingenious. Now you know this if you've already seen my other joke video. First of all, the head is removable. It's basically attached via a battery. Pops off easily enough. And we separate the ball. And inside we find a little car. So this is the actual guts of the BB8 toy. It's essentially just a small little remote control car. You put the batteries in here, and if we just let's put this here. Okay. Oh, it turned off. Now, because this is the actual everything is here on this unit, therefore to turn it on you shake it, and I think it's already on. And to turn it off, like I showed just now, is you hold it upside down, and I think is it on or off? Oh, it's actually on. So to turn it off, you hold it upside down for a while. Okay, so now it's off. So to turn it on, you shake it and it's on. So without the casing, it's pretty obvious how it works. We turn. So basically, on this so-called remote control car, there's a very heavy base. So when it's inside the ball, and it starts moving and rolling around the ball, the weight itself will just balance it off so that it will always be at the bottom of the ball. It will always be at the bottom. So it's pretty ingenious. It doesn't work and doesn't control as well as the Sphero, but yeah, as a toy, if you just want to have a remote control BB8 running around, this is a much better alternative if you want a toy. And again, it's bigger, it has actual sounds. I don't see why not if you want a toy of the BB8. Works pretty well. And next up, we have the Thinkway Toys interactive R2D2 remote control droid. Okay, that's a very long name and I'm pretty sure I got it wrong, but basically it's a remote control R2D2 from Thinkway Toys. So once again, this is a remote control toy and you have and here's a remote. Personally, I'm very disappointed in this toy, because if you look at this, you would think that okay, this is your typical tank control remote control toy. So basically, this controls the left leg, this controls the right leg. So if you want it to go forward, you press both forward. If you want it to go back, you press both back. And if you want it to turn, you just like push one forward and push one back. But the problem here is this R2D2 doesn't work like an actual remote control tank. Now let me show you. So I'm going to move back, move forward, turn, now if you have noticed is that there is actually an audio cue from R2D2 every time you do something. And basically because of that, it means that this remote control R2D2 can't transition between the operation states. That means it can't seamlessly go from moving forwards to banking left or turning left, or immediately turning left and then stopping. So if I let go, notice it still drifts a bit, because what it's actually executing is that it's actually executing like a fixed step of doing things. So if you actually play any of the other remote control tanks before, you know that this is actually a very irresponsive way of controlling a remote control tank. I really hate it. I thought it would be just very simple, controls very smoothly. And here's why. If you notice that this remote control looks slightly more complicated than just having two joysticks here. Now, first of all, there are a few extra buttons. You have a voice button that does the audio cue. So that performs certain actions. You have the must-have R2D2 must-have light message button.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
And then you have this extra button, which is what they call an action button. So with that, it will actually like perform a very long string of actions. That usually has it running around all over the place. Let's see what happens. I'm pretty sure I don't have enough space here, but let's try it. Okay, it's getting tangled up in something. So yeah, it can perform many actions and say quite a few number of things. Let's press the speech button again. So it has a bunch of emotes, which I'm sure you can have fun with. So what are these other buttons for? For example, this is the spin button. This is the snake-like movement button. Oh boy. Okay, not good, not good. There's no space for you to move it like that over here. And then we have the move, and then these are basic movement controls like forward. So it moves forward for a while, and back. It will move back a while for some while. So you might be wondering, why are these buttons here? What are they for? I mean, these are to control. So why do you have all these buttons here as well? Well, that's because Thinkway Toys wanted to sell this as an educational toy instead of just a simple remote control R2D2, which everyone would have been happy about. So what you do is you can actually pre-program steps into it by pressing the program button and then punching in the few actions and then pressing go, and it will execute what you keyed in for in a sequence. And is probably why the controls here aren't responsive, because they felt that it's probably too hard to allow this to have independent control as well as these buttons to have a step control. Therefore, they just wired everything to these actual step-by-step controls. Therefore, making this a very bad remote control toy. Very disappointed at this, because especially this thing was quite expensive, so I am extra disappointed at it. And if you're wondering, there's an additional mic button here. According to the instructions, it will actually it allows it to enter some sort of mode where it listens to you and you can interact with it. Hello, R2? Hey, R2? Come on, talk to me, R2. Talk to me. That's not talking, you know. That's just detecting sound and punching in other things and doing actions. That's not talking, okay? I hope you're happy with yourself. Are you happy with yourself? You're just randomly performing actions based on sounds that you hear. Don't do anything if that's a yes. And there you go. So, Thinkway Toys R2D2, not so good. Hasbro Remote Control BB8, very good. Yeah, go to the corner. You done? Okay. Okay, this is Marauders. I will see you all in the next video. Well, now show you voice activation. Hey R2, dance program. Hey R2, play message.
This is our most desperate hour. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
That's voice activation.